Hi guys, I'm making and painting Tamiya's M48 Patton. In the UK it's a real reasonably priced model. I think it was 20 quid. I think it's probably an old moulding, but it goes together lovely. It's one of them typical Tamiya shake and bake kind of kits that go together really easily. Nice fit. Tracks a little bit loose to what I'm used to when you get the stretchy vinyl tracks, and I could have messed about doing all the super glue and sags between the wheels, but I started doing it and just thought, it looks smart the way it is. That's just not something I enjoy, manipulating the tracks to be realistic. I'd rather work on the detail on the surfaces. So got to the usual stage where I've assembled the boring bits, the road wheels and drive sprockets and stuff. It all goes together really well. It's the style where you get the rubber collar inside, so they push on and pull off, which is nice for painting the hull behind the wheels, the suspension and stuff, but I feel like the fact the wheels roll when you put the brush on them does make it a little bit harder sometimes. But no, it's a lovely model to make. Lovely model. Plain green. So yeah, what I've done differently this time is the models that I showed at the beginning of the video in the photographs. They had a lot of storage on, and I think they used tracks and sandbags as a kind of extra layer of defence all around the turret. So I've used a bit of casting plaster and created and doubled the amount of available oil cans and packs and bags that I can use, because I thought I want it. I think it even says in the instructions that this vehicle, soldiers often covered it in packs and ammunition and other stuff, tracks, sandbags, and yet in the sprues I think there's 3 water cans and 2 sleeping bag style packs. So I think I did another 4 of the packs, some rolled up netting, another 4 or 5 petrol cans, and then a couple of like rucksacks from other kits, and I just pushed them into the DAS air drying clay, and then used casting plaster, and then cut them and sanded them back. So yeah, I started with obviously left off the aerials, the machine guns, stuff like that. Started with just a dark green. I think it was German reactive green, I think it's called, by Vallejo, as a kind of base. The whole model is just plain green, US olive, and the only bits that you need to be mindful of is there's a reflector, there's a sighting device on the top of the gun that I've left off as well. I think it suggests the inside of that needs to be kind of chrome silver, and it has a thin piece of clear plastic at the front. So yeah, I stuck that on with super glue at the end because it was paint to paint surface. So I don't think it would have worked very well. It's quite heavy actually. I had to wedge something between the gun barrel and the gun sight to try and make sure it was pointing smartly instead of just sagging onto the gun barrel. But yeah, otherwise no issues, nice and easy. I didn't do any damage on it like I'd do on a Second World War tank. Batter the fenders, scratch it up, bullet holes. I didn't do anything like that, even though, in the Tet Offensive, I think these tanks had it pretty tough. I've also seen a couple on the internet that have hit landmines. These are used extensively in the Middle East. America sold this tank to several countries, and plenty of pictures online. But yeah, they're either plain green generally, or they're a sand colour, depending which countries operate them. But nice, lot of surface, a lot of opportunity for weathering and stuff like that on it. Seems to be like a lot of track and a lot of wheels as well. I think I must have done a couple of tanks recently where there's a kind of skirts on the side, because this just felt like there was a lot of visible, undercarriage kind of showing. Obviously working from the dark green to the olive green, and then lightening it with buff for the surfaces which may have been bleached a little bit by the sun or get a lot of wear and tear. I've done a couple of modern tanks, so I've not used the hairspray chipping technique for ages. I think modern tanks, they don't get in such a state as the Second World War tanks would have done. Don't know if you have any views on that, guys. You want to leave a comment, but that's my opinion, is like the modern tanks, that they just don't stay in the field for as long. They don't get battered as much. It's not the same kind of warfare. But I have seen on YouTube people doing the M48 Patton from Vietnam and doing loads of chipping on it. But I don't know if American tanks ever got that knackered in the field in history, but any time. But yeah, you may disagree with me. They certainly got dirty, so I'll do some pastels on this one at the end. after doing some pin wash, some oils on it as well. But yeah, my main thing was just starting with a slightly darker colour, which I think when you're brush painting, this is the way to do it. Starting with a darker base colour and then lightening it for the big areas of flat surface, and for the hatches, the turret hatch covers, and things like that. Yeah, just stepping it with like I say, a tiny bit of buff, and then I use a wet brush so that the paint isn't thick. It's watered down, and then it makes it easier to blend the highlights into the base colour, the colour that's below. Anyway, so that's just the way I do it, guys. I'm no expert. And then sometimes, if I've done some dry brushing and done some lighter tones, and I feel like it still warrants it, I'll take a lighter colour and I'll just run down rails and handles to things, bits which would have been definitely lighter and worn. Just physically paint them rather than just dry brushing quickly over the surface. I'll physically paint certain areas. Not many decals for it, but they went on nicely. I love a white star against olive green. Just something about it works. Let me know what you think, guys, if you've made this model. This is when I was a teenager, and I did used to make 1/7/2 scale planes, which I've already mentioned. That was like my background prior to the COVID pandemic. But when I was a teenager and I did make 1/7/2 planes, I briefly tried models this size, tanks this size, the armour this size, and I did do this one. So this is the second time I've done this in my life, and I did it camouflage, green and black and beige. I loved it. I sold it, I think, in my 20s. I sold it on eBay and made the same amount of money as what I bought it for. But I'd had it for years, and I remembered that I loved making it, and it must have been something like that stuck in my mind. I can't even remember where I got it from. But and that's going a few years back. So yeah, this model's been around for a while. But it still felt like the detail was crisp. I didn't have to take off any flash. Everything fit together perfectly. It's just typical Tamiya. Really well engineered. I think what I've been doing when I've made a video of a diorama and then made a video of a tank, sometimes afterwards I have second thoughts that tank and that diorama go together really well, and I can swap and change them a little bit. So I think one of my next videos is going to be a bit of a review of how things ended up, and sometimes after I finish the video I'll tweak a little bit the either the diorama or the armour. But yeah, I think I might do a little review video of, what any development that occurred on previous dioramas that I've done. Like I did a Fuchs on an Afghan diorama. Well, I've since taken the Fuchs off that Afghan road because I had a T62, T55, whatever it was, that I put on that, a Russian one, that I put on the Afghan road. And the Bundeswehr Fuchs, I've bought a Leopard 2, and I've bought a Mercedes Jeep, all from the German army in Afghanistan. And I might do a big diorama with those 3 vehicles together. That's in the pipeline. I just felt like the Fuchs was brilliant by itself. I enjoyed making it, I enjoyed the diorama, and it kind of was right for the size of it. But yeah, I felt like I could do more with it. So anyway, I'm getting distracted. Super gluing now the plaster storage on the back of the tank. And as much as you can see loads of examples online of them piled high with sandbags and bags and packs, it isn't particularly easy to take a hard pouch and fit it onto a hard turret that's also covered in detail as well. I found it quite hard to squeeze everything in. Obviously, there's a basket available for all the petrol cans and the water cans. There's actually decals for the water cans, which is quite nice. I think that's quite rare. So yeah, I just did what I could. I've certainly not covered it as I kind of half intended. But there's there's string in the kit which you can paint up black or silver or rust colours as a kind of tow cable. There's a spare wheel at the back there. Excuse my hand at the back, but yeah, there's some packs that I've added to it, water cans. Yeah, I did have sandbags that I'd made out of Das air drying clay, but didn't use them in the end. I don't think they stand up to the detail of other things. I think in the future, if I can get something that's got sandbags in, like the, I think there was a Stuart tank that came with some sandbags on the sprue, then I need to do a casting in the same manner in clay with casting plaster to make some duplicate sandbags, or I think people like Tamiya might even will do a box of sandbags, so I might just purchase that. The air drying clay sandbags are good for a diorama where you're using lots of them to make a bunker or something like that, but I think they just look a bit incongruous on a tank, on an actual surface of a tank. I've swapped my camera because I'm right-handed. I've swapped my camera to my other side of my desk, but somehow still seem to get my hand in front of the camera, whichever way it is. But yeah, the last stage of most of my models is the super glue comes out, because the Revel glue that I use just struggles when it's a painted surface. It can't fix. So obviously all the storage, because it's different shades and colours to the tank body, is painted off the tank. You know, a lot of airbrush guys, they'll build the tank completely and then paint it, but I don't know how you do that with. I don't know how they do that really. Make more work for themselves in my mind. It's like the chaps you see doing the 172 planes, and they stick the cockpit glass on and then have to start masking it. Just leave it off. Spray it before you put it on. And I'll do that with headlights. You know, like I say, the rangefinder sighting system that's now, you can see it there on top of the barrel of the gun. The machine gun, which I've still left off, this one. The aerials, which I've left off at the moment. The tracks and the storage, I've painted off the body, and now I've put it on, and I'm doing like a black oil paint pin wash. I'm still no expert at this, only done this for the last few models, but just have to keep diluting it until it looks about right. It certainly looks good on a single colour vehicle to do some shading like this with the oil paints. Certainly get online, guys, and have a look at some of the photos of these. Re-look at those photos at the beginning that I posted on this video. I find that kind of stuff really inspiring. I don't know if Vietnam War American soldiers as tank riders exists as a kit, but I think that would be a great thing to put on this tank, because you do often see soldiers either hunkering behind it or riding on it. Yeah, that'll be something I'll look out for, actually, because there's still that space there behind the turret that'd be great to have a couple of guys on. So 2 guys come with the kit, one just the head and shoulders of the driver, who's barely visible just below the gun barrel, and another which is the tank commander, and he's sitting on the cupola at the top, which was quite a nice figure. The tank commander figure was quite nice, but I've not yet conceived the diorama for this yet, and I just decided to close it all up, maybe do it either in action or in some kind of tense situation, in Hawaii, in a urban kind of South Vietnam in some kind of conflict situation. But yeah, that's not yet finished. Might be the next thing I do, I don't know. But for now, I just enjoyed the build. Yeah, just enjoyed the build, enjoyed weathering it. So the weathering, I did like a rust-coloured pastel, ground up a yellow, and then like a very pale dust buff kind of colour. And I mixed the three together. That's what I've done recently, and it seems to have worked. You kind of get the different shades of dark and light earth. And it's good because you see, you know, I was watching Andy's hobby headquarters do a Leopard 2 the other day, and he did 3 different AK earth effects to get different grades of dirt. And I thought, well, you know, they're probably £7 or £8 each. You know, so here by grinding up 3 different tones of pastel, you get the same effect really. And I'll try and post some close-up pictures on my Instagram, because you can hardly see it on a video, but the rust and the yellow, it just gave a real complex kind of mud effect and wear and tear effect to the corners and the edges of things. You can just see a little bit there that it looks a nice colour on top of the green. So experiment with your pastels, guys, if you use pastels for weathering. Have a little go with different colours, and because you can always wash them off. You can always wet a brush and lift it off and use a cotton bud. But yeah, I have got some stills of this that are a bit more detailed that I'll put on my Instagram, which is also Supermodel Dave. There you can see it's kind of like a brick, dust and dirt kind of effect, and because the way you dry brush it over, it especially hits the you know, the corners, the edges and the tops of things. I really enjoyed this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think. Yeah, really loved this one, and it just felt very authentic and, you know, very of the Vietnam War. Cheers, guys.